Hey, this is Shane from Point to the Word. This is my first video I'm making. It's my testimony, and if you see me bobbing back and forth, it's because I'm on my treadmill. So, um, yeah, this is my testimony. I've been saved since 2015, praise God, and I wanted to tell that story. I usually don't go on YouTube, I'm primarily on Facebook and stuff. So, this is why really want to make a video for YouTube. I've been seeing a lot of testimonies and testimonials, so I wanted to put mine up. Basically, so we go back, start from the history, and then work myself up. This might be in a few different parts. I don't know how long this is going to take, but I don't want to put like an hour and a half video for you guys. So, when I grew up, I was a Lutheran. I'm not to this day, but I was raised Lutheran, and my dad was primarily a Lutheran. My grandma was too. My parents divorced when I was very young. My mom was kind of still searching at that point. So going through school, long story short, I basically had this false humility, like I thought I was a good kid, teenager and stuff. Like I kept comparing myself to the world, and I thought I was good by those standards because I wasn't doing things that they were doing, other kids were doing in like high school. But like I said, that was a false humility, false pride. Even I had a lot of pride back then. I still did primarily until I was saved. But yes, I had so much pride to deal with. And other kids back then, they went or they would go drink, and they would smoke pot, other drugs, and just stuff like that. And I didn't partake in that. I hung around people who did, but I wouldn't go along with it. And so I think in my mind, I thought I was a good kid, and didn't really know about salvation, didn't know about being saved. Like I went to church, but a church building rather, and because we're the church. But yeah, so I went to, church. I didn't listen. I don't think I actually fully heard a sermon like that I listened to. I'd usually just daydream. And so, yeah, I don't remember actually sitting for a full sermon and listening. So I didn't know that. I always knew I was afraid to die. I knew I was afraid to die. And I knew that I didn't want to go to hell, but that's, selfish, kind of. I just want to go to heaven, don't want to go to hell. I was very afraid to die. And I knew that I wanted to go to heaven, but I didn't understand, how that was done. But I thought it was, just a belief in God. I thought, you believe in God, and there, boom, you can go to heaven. And I always kind of thought, I'd rather play it safe, believe in God, and just kind of, not live a life of sin. In my mind, I thought I was being perfect, but, just, don't take any chances. Like, let's just believe in God, and then you'll go to heaven, kind of thing. That was my mindset back then. And so, yeah, growing up, I was Lutheran. I hated going, and I didn't partake in any, in school. I didn't partake in any drugs or alcohol. I had this false idea of myself. I thought I was being a good kid. And we had this camp. We had our Lutheran school. We had this camp a few miles away that we went to. It was my first one I ever went to, and I hated it. I hated it so much because at the church building I went to, it was very dry. It was very, and I'm saying all the things. I'm not saying doctrine. I'm just, I wasn't saved back then. In my mind, I'm just talking about all the aesthetics. You know what I mean? Like, it was very dry. The music was, just not exciting. And I'm talking from a carnal point of view. The music wasn't exciting. Everything, is very dry and just not charismatic. So, we went to this camp, and it was very charismatic. You know, people with their hands in the air, stuff like that. And I was not a part of it. And so all the kids there were just messing around, you know, like they're being completely, you know, just what you see in the world, you know what I mean? And I was getting in fights too. I wasn't good at all. And yeah, I was getting into fights there. I hated it. I remember the pastor, we were all in a canoe, and he would take out the people one by one, and like, yeah, I was not a part of it. I hated it. And then this is so dumb, but I got poison ivy, and like, I was turned off by it, and I think I was turned off by God, which is so dumb. Like, I mean, like, and I think that's part of the thing. Like, people equate Christians to God if they have a bad experience with Christians or professing Christians, then they get turned off to God. That's not logical, but that's just how it goes for a lot of people, including myself. So after that, I got like poison ivy. I was so upset. Like, I had a horrible experience. And, you know, now I don't know, like, you know, my dad and grandma, I think my grandma paid for it, you know, but I mean, like, she went through all this, you know, she paid all this money, and, you know, I was just hating it. I don't know if I mentioned in the beginning, but my parents divorced when I was very young. So I was primarily living with my grandma, and my dad lived with my grandma. So we all lived with my grandma. So yeah, I was turned off to church. I didn't want any part of it. I had doubts. I had so many doubts, and I'd ask, you know, my grandma, you know, questions, and, you know, knowing now, the appropriate question or answer to that question would have been, you know, I think you should pray to God, you know, and go to the Bible and read that, and just, you know, go there. Because I think now it's basically, oh, you know, go ask the pastor, or, you know, I don't know that answer, kind of thing. So I think that'd be part one. I'll include another part later. Hope you guys have a great day.